What's up, guys? This is Alex from the Duran, and today we're going to be talking about a petition in the UK to ban Steve Bannon. I did a video a couple of days ago on how Steve Bannon is trying to create the opposite of the Soros Open Society Foundation. He's trying to create a conservative right foundation called the Movement in Europe, and he's basing it in Brussels. This is going to be the antithesis of George Soros' Open Society Foundation. Now, I'm sure all of you are well aware of George Soros and the Open Society Foundation, which is a foundation which pretty much stirs up a lot of trouble all over the world. They champion radical left causes, they champion open borders, they champion regime change, they champion war, and they champion destabilizing countries, removing culture, removing ethnicity, removing religion, removing any type of national pride. The Soros Foundation pretty much funds any activity that's involved in these areas. They're an extremely destabilizing foundation. They were behind, many people believe, and I also think there's ample evidence to show that they were behind. They were one of the major players in the Ukraine coup that overthrew a democratically elected legitimate government in Ukraine and destabilized that country. And they've been up to no good in Europe for a long time, and they really pushed the open borders initiative as well in Europe. And so Steve Bannon now is creating his own foundation called the Movement to counteract much of the damage that George Soros has done in Europe. Now, Steve Bannon is a controversial figure in the United States. Many people consider him a patriot. Many people consider him a nationalist. A lot of other people, especially the radical left, consider him a type of neo-Nazi character and a white supremacist. Whatever you feel about Steve Bannon, put it in the comments below. I'd like to see your opinions on how you see Steve Bannon. But the initiative that he's trying to bring to the EU is actually really good, because I think it's going to add a little bit of balance to all the chaos and all the destruction that the Open Society Foundation has done in Europe. And it needs, I think Europe is in need of a conservative right movement to counteract a lot of the radical left money that Soros has flushed into Europe. And he's bought Europe. He's bought the Brussels bureaucrats and the technocrats. And he's flushed all of Europe with his billions of dollars, so he can push a lot of his, what I consider a very destructive agenda in Europe. I mean, it's led to 10 years of misery in Europe. Look at Greece, look at Cyprus, look at Italy, look at Portugal, look at Ireland, look at Spain. And the migrant issue is still here to this very day. There's still big issue with migrants in the European Union. And now the UK has actually got an agenda, a petition that a lot of the people in Britain are pushing so that they can get the British government to ban Steve Bannon from entering the UK. Now, of course, you have Brexit, and the UK is leaving Europe, so I don't think it's going to have much of an effect on this foundation that Steve Bannon's putting into the EU called the Movement. But nevertheless, the UK is looking to ban him from entering Britain. And of course, the UK has already banned a lot of people from entering the country. They've banned Milo Yiannopoulos. They've banned Lauren Southern. And so Steve Bannon would just be another name on that list that they're looking to ban. So this Zero Hedge article came to my attention, and you guys can see the screenshots. I'll take you through the article and through the screens here of what Zero Hedge is reporting. And it has a screenshot of the petition, and it says the UK government should ban Steve Bannon from entering the UK. And the description of the petition it goes like this: Steve Bannon is a far-right political figure who poses a direct risk to the security of the UK. He should not be allowed to enter the UK to spread messages of hate. The petition already has 9,377 signatures at the time that Zero Hedge reported this. Now, the petition needs 10,000 signatures for the UK government to respond. 100,000 signatures, and the petition will be considered for debate in Parliament. Now, this looks very likely that it's going to get those 100,000 signatures. And I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Bannon does get banned from entering the UK. Like I said, the UK has done this to a lot of people already, a lot of conservative right people notably. I haven't seen anyone on the left or the radical left get banned from entering the UK. Now, liberal Belgian politician Gary Verhofstadt, he's the leader of the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats for Europe. I'm sure you've seen him in the EU Parliament debates. This guy's super far left, and he's very eccentric, very outspoken. This guy is a Soros guy through and through. And he came out and he said that Steve Bannon's far-right vision and attempt to import Trump's hateful politics to our continent will be rejected by decent Europeans. We know what the nightmares of nationalism did to our countries in the past. Now, we can have a debate on history if it was nationalism that did what it did to Europe. But there's no doubt that today, the fascist tendencies, they lie with the left and the radical left. It's the left that's trying to prohibit free speech. It's the left that's censoring free speech. It's the left that's supporting wars that are destabilizing countries in the Middle East, whether you call that Syria, whether you call that Libya. It's the radical left that has supported these wars that fully supported these wars and backed them up. It's the radical left that's in support of humanitarian interventions, which destabilize countries. It's the radical left that supported the Ukraine coup and destabilized that country. And it's the radical left that pushes us into conflict with Russia, a nuclear power, a great nuclear power, which is extremely dangerous. And so when it comes to any type of fascist tendencies, I tend to think that those don't lie with the conservative right. They actually lie with the radical left. But as with all techniques used by radical liberals, it's all about projection. So when a radical liberal says something and accuses the right of something, it usually means that they're the ones that are guilty of it. So whatever Verhofstadt says about Steve Bannon, about his white supremacist far-right vision of how he sees Europe, just take whatever he says and apply that to Gary Verhofstadt. His vision of Europe is the destructive vision of Europe. It's the vision of Europe that has brought Europe to the point of destruction in the last 10 years. I mean, Europe is just a complete and utter freaking mess. And it's the left's vision, the neoliberal radical left's vision of Europe that has brought Europe to the point of bankruptcy, to the point of not being able to control its borders, to the point of being unrecognizable as far as what is European and who is European. That's brought crime rates to record highs. This is the vision of these guys, not the vision of Steve Bannon. But Steve Bannon is a controversial figure, but he's going to act as a counterbalance to Soros and the money that Soros has completely bought off Brussels with. Now, Soros, just an FYI on Soros, he's actually pledging another $18 billion of his fortune to the Open Society Foundation to combat a lot of the nationalist and conservative right movements that are popping up in Europe. And most notably, Soros is really trying to dismantle Orban's government in Hungary. Viktor Orban has been one of the most outspoken European leaders against Soros, and he's taken action against Soros and his Open Society Foundation. He's one of the only Europeans that sees the Open Society Foundation for what it really is. And so Soros is pumping a lot of money into Europe, 18 billion of his fortune, into the Open Society Foundation to further destabilize Europe. So check out this article on Zero Hedge. I'll put a link down below. Guys, if you like these videos, comment down below as well. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to our channel and also click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And remember to visit the Duran shop. Buy a shirt. Help support the Duran. Until next time, take care.